Have you ever felt like you just can't think straight when you're down?
Like your brain is in a fog, and even the simplest decisions feel overwhelming?
You're not alone.
Depression doesn't just affect mood, it affects how we think, how we focus, and how we make decisions. And yet, this side of depression is rarely talked about. When most people hear the word depression, they immediately think of sadness. But depression is so much more than that. In fact, many people who live with depression say it's not the sadness that bothers them the most, it's the constant mental exhaustion, the forgetfulness, the inability to concentrate. The moments when they feel like their brain is betraying them. Let's start with memory. You might think of memory as this separate, isolated function in your brain, like a file cabinet where everything is neatly stored. But in reality, memory is deeply connected to our emotions. When you're depressed, the emotional center of your brain, especially areas like the amygdala and hippocampus, actually functions differently. The hippocampus, which plays a critical role in forming new memories, is known to shrink in people with long-term depression. It literally gets smaller. This physical change affects how well you store and recall information. That's why someone with depression might forget appointments, miss deadlines, or struggle to remember what they just read. It's not about laziness or carelessness. It's not that they don't care. It's that their brain is under so much emotional pressure. It's like trying to download a huge file on a really weak internet connection. Things just don't stick the way they should. Now let's talk about focus. Depression often comes with something called cognitive slowing. That means your thoughts feel slower, your reactions are delayed, and your ability to concentrate fades. You might start reading an article and realize 5 minutes later that you have no idea what you just read. Or you might find yourself staring at your screen, unable to start even the simplest task. That's not just a bad day. That's how depression hijacks your attention. What's interesting is that this isn't just psychological, it's neurological. Depression changes how your brain processes information. It can decrease activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for higher-level thinking like planning, organizing, and staying focused. So when someone says they can't concentrate because they're depressed, they're not exaggerating. Their brain is physically struggling to hold focus. But maybe the most frustrating part for many people is how depression affects decision-making. Have you ever stood in front of your closet for 10 minutes, unable to decide what to wear? Or stared at a restaurant menu, completely overwhelmed? These small, everyday decisions can feel like massive obstacles when you're depressed. This is because depression often distorts your perception of outcomes. It's like your brain is wearing dark-tinted glasses. You can't see the potential positives clearly, and everything feels like it might go wrong. That's why people with depression tend to be more indecisive, more risk-averse, and more pessimistic about the future. The emotional weight of every decision feels heavier. Even making a choice as simple as what to eat or when to leave the house can trigger anxiety or lead to complete mental shutdown. And when it comes to bigger decisions, like whether to change jobs, leave a relationship, or seek help, the brain often defaults to inaction. Why? Because depression loves to whisper, "What's the point?" It kills motivation, numbs excitement, and convinces you that nothing you do will really matter. That hopelessness isn't just emotional, it directly interferes with your ability to weigh options and make choices. And all of this, the memory loss, the poor concentration, the decision paralysis, it creates a vicious cycle. You forget to respond to an email, which leads to stress, which deepens your depression. You can't concentrate at work, which makes you feel inadequate, which makes you spiral. You avoid making decisions, which creates more problems, which feeds the feeling of failure.
And round it goes.
The worst part is, many people don't realize that these cognitive symptoms are part of their depression. They just think they're losing control, getting dumber, or becoming lazy. But they're not. Their brain is in survival mode. And it's doing the best it can with the weight it's carrying. So what can be done? First, awareness is key. Just knowing that memory problems, difficulty focusing, and decision-making struggles are symptoms of depression can be incredibly validating. It takes away the self-blame and replaces it with understanding. This is not your fault. This is how depression works. Second, treatment can help. Whether it's therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, or a combination of these, addressing depression at its root can improve cognitive function. Studies show that as mood improves, so does brain function. And that includes memory, attention, and the ability to make decisions. Mindfulness and cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, have been shown to help people become more aware of negative thought patterns and retrain their brain to focus better. Even small changes, like sleep, diet, and exercise, can support brain health and improve mental clarity over time. And maybe the most important step is being kind to yourself. Depression is already hard enough. You don't need to beat yourself up for struggling to remember things or for taking longer to complete tasks.
Give yourself grace.
You're not broken, you're battling something incredibly difficult, and every day you keep going is a win.